The trade fleet moved through the neutral star corridor in an orderly fashion. Alien ships of different shapes and colors glided silently, their engines creating a faint hum that only the sensitive alien ears could hear. Leaders among them believed the corridor to be safe. They thought no one would dare bring warships to such a zone. They were wrong. Captain Zarok, the commander of the leading alien ship, scanned the empty space ahead. He noticed a small object drifting slowly. At first he thought it was a probe or debris from some old battle. Its shape was strange. It had no known markings, no lights, nothing to indicate life. The sensors failed to identify it clearly. Zarok sent a signal to the fleet. "Unknown object ahead," he said. "Prepare for observation." The alien ship slowed as they approached. The object looked simple, even fragile, yet the sensors could not read it properly. The fleet hesitated. Was it dangerous? Could it be a trap? Aliens whispered among themselves, worried. Some believed the humans might be hiding their strength behind a weak appearance. Others laughed at the idea. Humans were supposed to be primitive, they thought. Meanwhile, inside the human ship, the crew was aware of the alien fleet. Captain John Carter sat in the command chair. He did not panic or shout. He had faced difficult situations before and knew that calm minds made better decisions. He glanced at the readouts. Small dots moved toward them. The aliens were curious and cautious. The ship remained still as if asleep. Lisa Moore, the tactical officer, looked at the sensors and whispered, "They are coming closer. They think we are inactive. We can surprise them if needed." She smiled, though not proudly. It was the calm satisfaction of control. They did not need to show power yet. Observation alone was enough. Eric Brown, the engineer, monitored the ship systems. The human warship was quiet, efficient, and ready. "Engines are stable. Weapons are cold," he reported. "We look harmless, but we are not." He tapped the console, confirming that every system was ready to respond. The aliens would soon see the difference. The alien ships approached cautiously. The first few came to a stop a short distance away. Their sensors scanned and rescanned the human vessel. It did not behave like a normal ship. It emitted no usual energy signatures. Its hull reflected light in an unusual way. Some alien crews began to feel a strange tension, though they could not identify the reason. The ship seemed alive, even though it moved slowly. Captain Zarok decided to send a small team closer. A probe ship detached from the fleet and approached the human warship. It carried observers and scanning equipment. As it neared, the humans activated a subtle shield. Nothing big or flashy, just a slight distortion in space that the alien sensors could not penetrate fully. The probe team panicked as their instruments failed. "What is this?" they asked each other. Back on the human ship, John Carter leaned back and observed silently. "They are discovering that appearance is not truth," he said. Lisa Moore nodded. She knew the aliens were learning without realizing it. Humans had faced stronger enemies in history and learned that fear could be managed with calm and smart preparation. The alien fleet commander decided to move even closer, ignoring the growing unease among his team. They had to know what they were facing. Captain Zarok did not yet believe that this ship could pose any real threat. He thought it was just an advanced sensor platform, nothing more, but he was beginning to doubt. He felt a strange weight in space, something that made his crew nervous. Suddenly, a small signal reached the alien fleet. It was not a weapon, just a tiny drone released from the human ship. It moved silently, almost invisibly. Within moments, the alien scanners went blind. Their readings were confused, showing contradictory information. Some crew members whispered that it was a kind of magic. Others tried to rationalize it with science. Nothing worked. Captain Zarok shouted orders to recalibrate their instruments, but every attempt failed. The drone returned to the human ship without incident. No harm had come to the aliens. Yet their minds were filled with fear and respect at the same time. This was not what they expected. They thought humans were weak, simple, and untrained. Now they realized that humans were something else entirely. Inside the human warship, John Carter stood up and addressed his crew. "Observation is complete," he said. "Let them understand that we are ready, but we do not need to attack. Our strength is control." Lisa Moore nodded. "They are seeing that power does not need to shout. Intelligence and preparation are enough." Eric Brown added, "And our systems are ready for anything. If they move aggressively, we can respond immediately." The alien fleet commander began to communicate with the human ship. His voice was full of tension and curiosity. "Who are you?" he asked. "What is this vessel?" He tried to keep control, but he knew his fleet was shaken. The humans responded calmly, explaining that they do not display force unless necessary. Their words carried confidence that shook the aliens further. The aliens were astonished. They had never met a species that combined calm, intelligence, and capability in such a small package. Their history told them that warships had to be large, flashy, and threatening. Humans had shown them otherwise. A single ship could cause fear without firing a shot. The lesson was profound. The encounter lasted hours, though it felt like days to the alien crews. They observed the human warship in silence, trying to understand its systems, its discipline, and its intent. Slowly, a new respect formed. Fear turned into cautious admiration. The humans were not violent, yet they were dangerous. The aliens realized that the galaxy had underestimated Earth and its people for too long. Finally, the alien commander ordered his fleet to withdraw slowly. No one dared to challenge the human ship. Captain Zarok knew that they had encountered something extraordinary. He signaled the retreat, his crew still in shock. The lesson was clear. Power could be quiet, intelligent, and disciplined. The humans had shown it without firing a single weapon. Back on the human ship, the crew relaxed. The mission had been observation, and it had succeeded. John Carter returned to his chair, satisfied. Lisa Moore checked the systems, ensuring everything remained operational. Eric Brown continued his silent monitoring, proud of the ship's performance. The humans had demonstrated control, intelligence, and restraint, leaving a lasting impression on the galaxy. This encounter would be remembered for generations, not for the weapons that were fired, but for the strength that was shown without aggression. The alien fleet moved away slowly, still shaken by the encounter. Captain Zarok could not stop thinking about the human warship. How could a single ship, so small and quiet, hold such power? He called a meeting on the bridge of his flagship. Advisors, diplomats, and military officers crowded around the table. They spoke in hurried, low voices, trying to make sense of what they had seen. "This is not a normal vessel," one officer said. "Our scans failed completely. No energy patterns, no visible defenses. It should not exist." "Humans hide their strength," another whispered. "They are clever. They must have learned to survive by being unpredictable." Zarok listened carefully. He realized the galaxy had underestimated humanity for too long. He decided to send a small delegation to open a dialogue. Perhaps understanding could prevent war. The alien fleet began preparations. Their ships moved with caution, keeping a safe distance from the human warship. Inside the human ship, Captain John Carter observed the approaching alien delegation. He smiled faintly, appreciating their caution. Lisa Moore checked the tactical systems, making sure the human vessel remained ready. "They are trying to communicate," she said. "We can guide this interaction carefully." Eric Brown monitored the engineering systems. Every console confirmed stability. "All systems are optimal. If they try anything, we are ready." The alien delegation arrived, their ships forming a cautious formation around the human vessel. Zarok took a deep breath and spoke through the translator. "We wish to understand your intentions. Your vessel is beyond anything we have seen." John Carter responded calmly. "We are explorers and protectors. We do not seek conflict, but we are prepared to defend ourselves. Our strength is not for show. It is for control, efficiency, and survival." The alien leaders were stunned. They had never encountered a species that spoke so plainly yet carried such implied strength. Some began to realize that humans had a deep understanding of tactics and strategy. The delegation spent hours communicating, sharing knowledge and perspectives. The humans explained how small, efficient systems could outperform massive fleets when used wisely. They described layered defense, adaptive technology, and disciplined crews trained to think independently. The aliens listened intently, their fear mixing with curiosity. Zarok asked about human history. John Carter explained that humanity had survived countless threats, both internal and external. Wars, natural disasters, and political struggles had taught humans that brute force alone could not ensure survival. Intelligence, discipline, and innovation were equally important. Lisa Moore presented simulations of human tactics. The aliens watched in amazement as small human fleets defeated larger alien forces using strategy rather than overwhelming firepower. The simulations showed precision, timing, and adaptation. The humans emphasized that their methods minimized unnecessary destruction while ensuring victory when needed. Zarok began to understand the humans differently. They were not reckless or aggressive. They were deliberate and cautious, yet capable of great power. The aliens had always relied on size and intimidation. Humans showed them that these were not the only paths to strength. As the conversation continued, Eric Brown quietly activated a subtle demonstration. Small drones moved around the human ship, interacting with alien sensors. Nothing was damaged, but the aliens witnessed firsthand how easily their instruments could be disrupted. Panic and awe spread among the alien crews. The humans did not need to fight to show their capability. The alien delegation asked many questions. How did humans train their crews? How did they design ships that could perform so well without showing power? John Carter and Lisa Moore explained the balance of simplicity and efficiency, the importance of teamwork, and the value of calm decision-making. Every answer deepened the aliens' respect. Hours turned into a full cycle as both sides shared information. The alien fleet began to adjust its tactics and assumptions. They realized that their previous reliance on massive warships and overwhelming firepower was not the only way. Humans had achieved what the galaxy thought impossible, quiet strength that commanded respect. Finally, Zarok thanked the humans. "Your ways are strange to us but effective. We have much to learn. Your actions have changed our understanding of power." John Carter nodded. "Knowledge is the greatest defense. Show strength only when needed. Be precise, be disciplined, and be ready. That is what keeps peace." The alien delegation withdrew, leaving the human ship alone in the corridor. Captain Carter, Lisa Moore, and Eric Brown reflected on the encounter. They had not fired a single shot, yet they had achieved more than any battle could. Respect had been earned, and the galaxy had taken notice. Humans had shown that real power lies not in size or noise, but in intelligence, discipline, and restraint. The alien fleet withdrew but remained in the region, unable to forget the display of human power. Captain Zarok convened a council on his flagship. He brought together officers, scientists, and diplomats. The conversation was tense. Everyone wanted to understand the humans. How could a single ship so small be so capable? "We have seen their strength," one officer said. "It is unlike anything in our records. They do not rely on mass. They rely on precision and intelligence." Rock nodded. "Yes, but there is more. They do not show all their power at once. They are deliberate and careful. They think, not just react." Meanwhile, the human warship continued its patrol quietly. Captain John Carter observed from the command deck. Lisa Moore monitored sensors and communications, making sure everything remained stable. Eric Brown kept the engineering systems running smoothly. They knew the aliens would be analyzing every action. The humans were aware of the power of perception. The aliens sent a request for further communication. They wanted to learn more about human tactics and philosophy. John Carter agreed to a controlled dialogue. He wanted to show restraint and share knowledge without revealing all the ship's capabilities. The aliens sent their top diplomats and military experts. The two sides began discussions that would last for cycles. During the talks, the humans explained the concept of layered defense. A ship might seem small or weak from the outside, but inside it could have multiple systems working together. Some systems were for detection, some for defense, some for attack. They explained how every crew member was trained to act independently but in coordination with others. The aliens were amazed. Their fleets often relied on centralized control. Humans used decentralized decision-making for flexibility and speed. Lisa Moore shared simulations. The simulations showed small human groups outmaneuvering larger alien forces. The aliens watched intently. Every move was deliberate, every decision calculated. Humans minimized risk, avoided unnecessary damage, and still achieved success. The aliens began to see a new form of power, control over chaos. Captain Zarok asked about human history. John Carter spoke of humanity's survival through adversity. Wars on Earth had taught lessons that no technology could replace. People had learned to adapt, innovate, and overcome. The aliens realized that humans had faced extinction before and had emerged stronger and smarter. Eric Brown demonstrated small drones in space near the alien ships. The drones did not attack but interfered with sensors. The aliens experienced confusion and helplessness. Yet no damage occurred. It was a subtle lesson. Humans could control without violence. The aliens were unsettled. They realized their assumptions about war and power were flawed. The dialogue continued for cycles. Humans discussed strategy, philosophy, and discipline. The aliens asked countless questions. How did humans coordinate so efficiently? How did they maintain calm under pressure? Humans explained that training, trust, and shared responsibility were essential. Every crew member knew their role but could adapt when needed. Zarak observed his people. Fear was giving way to respect. They understood that humans were not reckless. They were deliberate, prepared, and intelligent. Humans did not need large fleets to command attention. Their efficiency and control were enough to create awe. As the discussions ended, the alien fleet began to withdraw. Zarak addressed his crew. "We have seen something remarkable. The humans do not need to fight to show power. They are disciplined, intelligent, and prepared. We must learn from this." On the human ship, Captain Carter reflected on the encounter. They had achieved respect without aggression. Lisa Moore and Eric Brown shared a quiet satisfaction. They had demonstrated that strength could be quiet, controlled, and effective. The aliens had seen that intelligence and discipline could outmatch size and force. The human warship returned to its patrol route. Its mission was complete. The aliens would carry the story of what they witnessed throughout the galaxy. Humans had not only survived an encounter with an alien fleet, they had changed perceptions, teaching a lesson about the true meaning of strength. The alien fleet began its withdrawal from the neutral corridor. Captain Zarak watched closely as the human warship remained still, calm, and undisturbed. Even as the aliens departed, there was a tension in the air, a lingering sense of respect and awe. Every crew member of the alien fleet was aware that they had witnessed something extraordinary, something that challenged everything they thought they knew about power and warfare. As the fleet moved, officers whispered among themselves. "We underestimated them," one said. "Their power is subtle, controlled, and precise. We relied on size and intimidation for centuries, but humans rely on something different." Zarak nodded silently. He knew the galaxy would change because of this encounter. He had seen fleets destroyed by their own assumptions, but humans had accomplished something without firing a shot. They had shown strength through discipline and intelligence. The alien leaders began sending reports back to their governments. The story of the human warship spread quickly, across the regions, systems, and sectors. Everyone who heard it was forced to reconsider their perception of humanity. Back on the human vessel, Captain John Carter, Lisa Moore, and Eric Brown maintained their positions. There was no celebration, no loud announcement. Their mission was not about glory or recognition. It was about control, observation, and teaching a subtle lesson. They had demonstrated restraint while ensuring that potential threats understood the reality of human power. Lisa Moore checked the systems and reviewed logs of the alien responses. "They are still processing everything they have seen," she said. "They underestimated us, and now they must think differently." Eric Brown smiled faintly. "And all without firing a single shot. Efficiency and discipline are more powerful than brute force." Captain Carter nodded. "That is the lesson they will carry. Strength is not always loud. Sometimes it is quiet, intelligent, and deliberate. We have shown them what humanity has learned over thousands of years. Preparation, adaptability, and control are true power." The human ship resumed its patrol. Its presence alone continued to serve as a subtle reminder to any who might venture into the corridor unprepared. Aliens observed from a distance, careful not to provoke, careful to respect the vessel they had witnessed. Reports from alien diplomats emphasized the unexpected nature of human tactics. The story spread that humans did not need massive fleets to dominate, only skill, intelligence, and readiness. Zarok and his fleet began analyzing their own practices, questioning centuries of reliance on overwhelming force. Training, communication, and adaptive tactics now became central discussions among the alien governments. The lessons of the human warship would influence decisions for generations. Inside the human ship, the crew continued their routines with quiet efficiency. Systems remained operational, sensors active, engines steady. There was no urgency, no celebration. Their work was done, but discipline ensured readiness for anything that might come next. John Carter observed the stars, contemplating the vastness of space. Humanity had shown a presence that would be remembered, a presence defined not by weapons, but by intelligence, planning, and restraint. Lisa Moore joined him, silently sharing the pride in their accomplishment. Eric Brown monitored the engineering systems, content with the flawless operation of the ship. As the human warship faded into the depths of space, the galaxy continued to react. Alien governments revised strategies, fleets were reassessed, and the notion of human weakness was permanently altered. The tale of one human warship, unassuming yet unmatched, became a legend among many species. It was not the size of the vessel, nor the force of its weapons, but the discipline, intelligence, and subtle power of its crew that left a lasting mark. Captain Carter reflected on the encounter. Humans had achieved what few species could: respect without aggression, influence without domination, and victory without battle. The mission of the human warship was complete, but its impact would continue to resonate across the galaxy. In a quiet corner of space, humanity had demonstrated its true power, not in violence, but in control, intelligence, and restraint, leaving the universe forever changed.